Hello there everyone, welcome back to Liverpool Players Can't Walk Wednesdays. It's James Redmond TV, but boys, we've just got more bad news, and more bad news that I'm giving to you is about injuries, is about COVID. As you know by the title, Mohamed Salah tests positive for COVID-19 again. For those who don't know the background story of it, Mo Salah tested positive last week, which actually meant that he would have to self-isolate in Egypt, and it was rumoured that he could come back to England if today or tomorrow, it was around the time that he was going to get his next test. If he was to test negative, then he could come back to Liverpool, which means he could be put in contention for the Leicester City game. He's had a second positive test with El Nene from the Egypt squad. So for all them people who were saying stuff like, oh, the fact that he went to a wedding, fair enough, probably shouldn't be going to big gatherings, but it's his brother's wedding. And second off, the fact El Nene's got it as well, and Salah hasn't been mixing with the squad, I think that goes to show that it's not just stuff like weddings. You've still got to be cautious when you're mixing all these players together, because it can happen. So now El Nene's out, and so is Mohamed Salah. Not only is that the only bad news that I'm about to deliver to you, the other bad news that I'm about to deliver to you is also Rhys Williams is out also. Well, I'm not sure if he's out for the Leicester game, but he's out with a hip flexor injury, or it's like something to do with his hip. I know it happened with England's under-21s. By the way, if you're wondering why my hair looks all greasy and wet, it's because I've just got out the shower. Anyway, back to the news. Not ideal, people. Not fucking ideal. Now, that's no Gomez, no Van Dijk, no Robbo possibly for this game, and no Trent definitely for this game. Also on top of this, did you know Thiago and Fabinho was not seen in training for Liverpool? So there's also a very big chance that, do you know, when we were expecting Fabinho and Thiago to be back for this game, looks like that might not be a possibility now, because they weren't in training. So I'm not sure if Jurgen Klopp is trying to keep them fit by letting them have a rest, or if Jurgen Klopp's trying to basically say to them, we'll ease you back into it. If Jurgen Klopp knows that they're fit, but he's not planning on starting them, I don't know what the case is here, but all of it's shit. Because now you've lost pretty much your front back four. The second choice centre-back to probably come in would have been Rhys Williams, because even though Nat Phillips has got the Premier League start, and he actually got that start over Rhys Williams, I think that game was better suited to a Nat Phillips than a Rhys Williams, because it was against West Ham, and obviously with Haller being the striker for that day and Antonio being out for that game a couple of days before that came out, that's what Jurgen Klopp knew. Let me put someone who's got aerial dominance, which is what Nat Phillips has got, and that's what we saw in that game. So now let's have a look at our available options. So no Mo Salah means that we're going to have to probably put in a Diogo Jota with Bobby Firmino and Sadio Mane as the front three. If you're talking about no Henderson, then you're probably looking at your midfield being now a Gini Wijnaldum and Naby Keita, who is fitting and firing for his national side. And then as your holding midfielder, maybe you bring Gini into the holding and bring in Curtis Jones into the first team, because if there's no Thiago and Fabinho as well as Henderson, then what midfield are you going to go with? Unless I'm missing someone, maybe James Milner, but we need him for right back, unless you're going to start Nico Williams. Centre backs, who are you going to start? Nat Phillips and Joel Matip. But how long is Joel Matip going to stay fit with all these circumstances coming our way? I'm not saying that Fabinho's out, by the way. I'm not saying Thiago's out. I know Salah will most likely now be missing the game because he's just got another positive test. I know that Rhys Williams is out now for the game because he's got a problem with his hip and he's had to come back from England's under-21 duty. So, with that being said, I don't know how this game against Leicester's going to go. And Leicester fans have been messaging me saying, James, we've got injuries as well. And you, fair enough. But I'm not worried about you. No offence, with all due respect. I'm not worried about your team and your injuries. Does it help? Yes, but I'm worried about my own. And it's like, no matter who you start, we've still got to start a bunch of new players as well. So I'm not saying Leicester fans shouldn't be worried. You absolutely should if you're getting first team injuries as well. However, all I'm trying to offer to you is I can only worry about my team and what's going on in my business. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know what you think about this news, people. I've just dropped Mini Mane, man. How can I drop Mini Mane? Mini Mane, he's just been dropped, but I just can't believe what I'm hearing, and I don't know how much more, and I've said this before plenty of times, I don't know how many more shots Liverpool, this team can take. I don't know how many more players that we can lose and get away with it. I think losing Henderson's huge. I think that's massive. I look at him and Alisson as the two players that, if they're not there, if you lose Alisson, you lose the confidence at the back, and even if you have a Verge there, you're just not confident with the man who's behind you in Adrian. So that's one thing, the reason why that Alisson's a big miss. Also with the fact he's the best goalkeeper in the world. But Jordan Henderson as well, he's a leader. He's become probably one of the best footballers in the league as well over the past year or two. For people who don't want to believe that, go and fucking watch him. Watch him as much as I do, and you will know that that's a fact. And other Liverpool fans will say that's a fact. Liverpool fans who used to hate Henderson, I weren't the biggest fan of him myself once upon a time. But now I realise how huge it is when he's not in our team. And this is not looking good because Leicester are top of the league. I think they could go for the title challenge this season. I'm not saying they're going to win it, but there's a very big possibility. And they've got some big, dangerous players. They've still got James Maddison fifth from the top of my head. They've still got Jamie Vardy fifth from the top of my head. They've still got quality players, as do we. We've got Sadio Mane, let's not underestimate the king himself. We have got a fit and firing Thiago Jota. We have also got a Bobby Firmino who is desperate for a goal. And maybe a hungry Bobby Firmino is on the horizon. Being optimistic, of course. But then quantify a bunch of other things. Genie Wijnaldum's in form. I'm just trying to pick out positives. We still got Alisson, which is always a bonus. As long as we can keep hold of these positives, then Liverpool can certainly still go on and have a good season. But with now no Rhys Williams, with no Joe Gomez, with no Virgil van Dijk, with a possibility of no Joel Matip and a possibility of no Fabinho again, let me just present you the question one more time, and you should already know my answer. Do Liverpool go out in January and buy a centre-back? Which, by the way, Jurgen Klopp isn't looking about doing. He thinks that he's good. Even if it's a shit one, I understand that we can't go out and spend 20 million. I get that. I really get that. I get that we can't just go out and spend 10, 20, 30 million on a player, but go and spend about 5 to 10. Do you know what I mean? I understand 20, 30, 40 might be a bit extreme for someone who you're only bringing in as a cover option, but even if you're getting someone old, I don't give a fuck. Just get someone. Get someone. We need to address these positions, and I just think like it's so unfortunate and so unlucky with everything that's gone on at the club. But centre-back's a valuable position, and not just anyone can slot into centre-back. With centre-mids and stuff, you can work the way around it. You can bring players into the midfield that can still do a solid job. But centre-back's primarily a one-person's job, and it's someone who's been playing centre-back the whole entire lives. Not people who play midfield, not people who play in the attack to slot them in there. I don't know. Some people would possibly even suggest bringing in Shimmercast left-back, and if Robbo's fit, put him centre-back next to Joel Matip. Again, I don't know. I don't really know if I want to see that. But this is the issues and these are the questions that you've got to ask when you've got an injury crisis like Liverpool Football Club. So, rounds up the news. Mo Salah has yet again tested positive for COVID-19. Therefore, most likely putting him out for the Leicester game. Rhys Williams has hurt his hip. We need to hear more about it. I will keep you updated over the next few days. Robbo's out. Henderson's probably out. Mo Salah is most certainly out. What else did I say? Oh yeah, and Thiago and Fabinho are not back in training. So this is not looking good. Mini Mo and Mini Mane, we are out with the shit news because I can't deal with this bullshit. Thanks for watching.